And
Gentlemen.
He's talking to me. I'm responding back to him.
2006 trip to Venezuela.
Stop covering for the president. Don't be a flunky. Work for the American people.
Mr. Meeks,
Trip to Venezuela.
Work for the American people. Don't be a cover-up for a mob.
A tense congressional confrontation has intensified scrutiny over potential conflicts of interest involving President Trump's family crypto venture, as Democratic lawmakers demanded accountability from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. During a heated House hearing, Representative Gregory Meeks pressed Bessent with a simple yes or no question on whether Treasury would pause scrutiny of any bank charter connected to World Liberty Financial until conflict of interest and foreign influence reviews were completed. After Bessent declined to make that commitment, the exchange erupted, with Meeks accusing him of covering for the president and urging him to work for the American people. The political fallout could extend well beyond this hearing, as questions surrounding ethics, foreign investment, financial oversight, and executive accountability continue to dominate Washington. Moments like this may shape public trust in government and influence the broader debate heading into the 2026 elections. The stakes are larger than one hearing. Oversight and whether powerful officials are held to the same standards as everyone else. Stay with us for fact-based analysis and comprehensive coverage of the stories unfolding on the ground in Washington. If you value accountability journalism and in-depth reporting, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others so we can continue bringing you the analysis that matters most to the American people.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from New York, ranking member of our Foreign Affairs Committee. Mr. Meeks, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Bessent, if I'm not mistaken, you were working in the financial service industry during the late 1980s, correct?
I was.
Thank you. And well, I'm wondering, do you recall or you're knowledgeable of the Keating Five scandal back then?
Yes, sir. And I will point out that I was.
I don't want to.
No. I will point out that
I
identified.
The gentleman, Mr. Secretary, is the gentleman from New York Times.
So I just want to make sure everyone knows, who doesn't know, that the Keating Five scandal involved 5 U.S. senators accused of pressuring the Federal Home Loan Bank Board to expedite and give more consideration to the case of Charles Keating Jr., who ran the California-based Lincoln Savings and Loans. It led to a 14-month investigation unveiling how 5 U.S. senators and staff ended up with more than $1 million in contributions, 4 trips to the Bahamas, and all expenses paid stays at resort hotels. Following the scandal, the industry saw sweeping regulatory changes that was launched by then-President George H.W. Bush. Now, Mr. Secretary, I'm sure you can agree conflicts of interest and improper influence by U.S. elected officials over bank regulators weaken supervisory independence and ultimately impose massive losses on consumers and taxpayers. I think that we can all agree upon that. And as we know, the basic lessons from the post-Keating reforms still applies today when the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, the OCC, is deciding to get a bank charter. I think we can stimulate that. Now, Mr. Bessent, as our nation's treasurer, I'm sure you also know that a foreign-linked investment firm tied to the United Arab Emirates government quietly bought about half of the Trump family's crypto company, World Liberty Financial. And at the very same time, the President of the United States was dealing with that country on foreign policy. Now, Eric Trump, the president's son and co-founder of World Liberty Financial, said, and I quote, "I'm not going to get into who the investors are, but I've got some pretty meaningful investors," end of quote. Lack of transparency. And it didn't end there. When Trump fans brought the tokens, they thought they were getting the deal of a century. But what they didn't know was that only Trump and his sons had the sole power to decide who can sell the token and when. Today, the price of the token has fallen over 50%, and the Trump fans who bought the token are now begging to get out. Now, I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. You can see it for yourself on the World Liberty Financial Discussion Forum. Yeah, yourself, Mr. Secretary. So this is no longer just about a shady crypto deal or a possible gift when a foreign-linked investor is putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a company controlled by the president's family, and at the same time, this president is conducting foreign policy with that country. You know what that creates? It creates a national security concern. So, I'm not going to ask much of you, Mr. Secretary. I just want to know whether you will commit today to pause and heighten the scrutiny of any bank charter or licensing application at the OCC connected to the World Liberty Financial until all of these conflicts of interest and foreign influence reviews are completed and shared with the United States Congress. All I need to know is, will you halt it and do a complete investigation and scrutiny of this licensing application? All you have to ask is yes or no.
No, Congressman.
All you have to ask
the
is yes or no.
OCC is an independent entity, and I would know, Congressman.
So I take that as a no.
You traveled to Venezuela
I take that as a no.
On behalf of
I take that as a no.
On behalf of your
You
donors.
do not want to answer that question. I take that as a no.
For a $7 billion.
I'm asking you to do your responsibility as Secretary of the Treasury.
Into a Venezuelan.
You do not.
Mr. Meeks,
Will you?
time has expired.
You cannot erase what you did in 2006.
He's the one that went past your time, Mr. Chairman.
No, and
he did not answer my question, and he wouldn't pass the
Mr.
time.
Meeks. He had 6 seconds left to try to answer your question, and
it was a yes or no. It was a yes or no answer. I asked him, will he? No, was
gentleman,
yes
the
or
chair
no?
recognizes
OCC
the
is an
gentleman.
independent
Stop
agency.
covering
Bessent.
for the president.
Yeah, well,
Stop being his flunky.
yeah, and
Gentlemen.
He's talking to me. I'm responding
your
back to him.
2006 trip to Venezuela.
Stop covering for the president. Don't be a flunky. Work for the American people.
Mr. Meeks,
Trip to Venezuela.
Work for the American people.
maybe
Don't be
you're
a cover-up for a mob.
Maybe you're going to see your friend Nicholas
I
Maduro
will.
in
gentleman
Brooklyn
is not
prison.
recognized. Mr. Bessent, please. I recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Sessions. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Secretary, welcome to the Financial Services Committee. I'm delighted that you're here. Mr. Secretary, we've talked with you about a broad range of things, not necessarily related to FSOC and your chairmanship there, but I would like to, if I can, talk with you something about the word public confidence. And the word public confidence does have a lot to do with the financial stability of the country. There are reports in social media that have shown, and I don't want to put you in a position where you cannot answer this because of anything that you've learned in Minnesota with the $9 billion.
The most consequential moment in this hearing came when Representative Gregory Meeks challenged Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over questions surrounding World Liberty Financial, a crypto company tied to President Trump's family. Meeks drew a historical comparison to the Keating Five scandal, arguing that Washington has already seen the damage that can occur when political influence collides with financial regulation. His central question was straightforward. Would Treasury support heightened scrutiny or pause any bank charter or licensing application connected to World Liberty Financial until conflict of interest and foreign influence reviews were completed? Bessent declined to make that commitment, responding that the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency operates independently. That answer did not satisfy Meeks, and the exchange quickly escalated into one of the hearing's most heated moments. Meeks accused the Secretary of shielding the president rather than protecting the public interest, arguing that government officials should work for the American people. The clash became less about one licensing application and more about competing views of accountability in government. From a democratic strategic perspective, this hearing was designed to frame the debate around ethics, transparency, and institutional independence, rather
Board
than
trips to the Bahamas
cryptocurrency
and all
itself.
expenses
The
paid
reference
stays
to the
at
Keating
resort
Five scandal
hotels.
was deliberate.
Following
That
the
case
scandal,
remains one of the
the
best-known
industry saw
examples of how
sweeping
political
regulatory
pressure and
changes
financial
that was launched
regulation
by
can become
then-President
intertwined,
George H.
leading to public
Bush.
distrust and
Now, Mr.
significant
Secretary,
financial consequences.
I'm sure you
By
can
invoking
agree
it, Meeks sought to
conflicts
place
of
current
interest
concerns within a
and
broader
improper
historical narrative
influence
instead of presenting
by
them as
U.S.
an
elected
isolated
officials
political dispute.
over bank
The strategic
regulators'
miscalculation
weakened
here is that
supervisory
declining to engage
independence
directly
and
with the substance of the
ultimately
question
impose-
may
they
leave room
ultimately
for opponents
impose
to define the
massive
narrative.
losses on
Even if
consumers
Treasury
and
believes
taxpayers.
regulatory
I think that we can
agencies
all
must
agree
remain
upon that.
independent,
And
refusing to
as we
provide a
know,
clearer
the
explanation
basic
can create the
lessons from
appearance of avoiding
post-Keating
scrutiny.
reforms
In
still
politics,
applies
perception
today
often shapes
when the
public
Office of
opinion
the
as much as
Comptroller of
policy.
Currency, the
For
OCC,
Democrats, that creates an
deciding to
opportunity to
get a
argue that
bank
stronger
charter. I
oversight
think we can
protects
stimulate
taxpayers,
that.
financial
Now,
markets, and the
Mr.
rule of
Bessent,
law. The
and
message
our
is
nation's
straightforward.
treasurer,
No president, cabinet
sure you
official, or
also
politically
know
connected
that
business
a
should receive
foreign
special
linked
treatment from
investment
federal
firm
regulators.
tied
This
to
also
the
reflects broader legislative
United
maneuvering.
Arab Emirates
Congressional
government
oversight hearings
quietly
rarely change
bought
policy overnight.
about
Their
half of
immediate
the Trump
purpose is to
family's
build a public
crypto
record,
company,
generate media attention,
World
and
Liberty
influence how
Financial.
future
And at the
legislative
very
debates
same
unfold.
time,
Every
the
exchange
President of
contributes
the
to the
United
larger
States
contest
was
over
dealing
political
with that
capital
country
heading into the
on
next election
foreign
cycle.
policy.
Republicans, meanwhile,
Now, Eric
are
Trump,
likely to argue
the
that
president's
independent
son
regulators
and
should not face
co-founder
political
of
pressure
World
from
Liberty
Congress,
Financial said,
and that
and I quote,
allegations should be
"I'm
supported
not
by
going
established
to get
investigative
into
processes
who
rather
the
than political
investors
rhetoric.
are.
That
But I've got
response
some
appeals to voters who
pretty
prioritize
meaningful
institutional
investors,"
independence
end of quote.
and limited political interference
Lack
in regulatory
of
decisions.
transparency.
The broader
And it didn't
political
end
challenge
there.
for the GOP lies
When
in
Trump
swing state
fans
optics.
brought the token,
Independent voters
they
often
thought they
place
were
a
getting
premium
the
on
deal
ethics,
of a century.
transparency, and
But what they
equal
didn't
application
know
of the law.
was that
Extended
only
debates
Trump
over
and his
conflicts of
sons
interest can
had
distract
the
from
sole
economic
power
messaging that
to
Republicans
decide
typically
who can
hope
sell
will
the
dominate
token
election year
and
conversations.
when.
For the
Today,
Democratic
the price
base,
of the
this
token
signals an
has
aggressive
fallen
effort to
over
keep questions of
50%,
accountability at the
and
center of the
Trump
national
fans
conversation.
who bought the
Oversight
token
hearings
are
like
now
this also
begging
serve a base
to
mobilization
get out.
function by
Now,
demonstrating that
I'm
Democratic
not making
lawmakers
this up.
are actively challenging
I'm not making
executive
this up.
power and
You can
demanding
see it
public
for yourself
answers.
on the
Another
World
factor is the
Liberty
growing role of
Financial
cryptocurrency in national
Discussion,
politics.
forum.
Digital
Yourself,
assets are no
Mr.
longer a
Secretary.
niche
So,
issue. They intersect
there's
with
no
banking
longer-
regulation, consumer protection,
This is no longer
campaign politics,
just about
and
a
national
shady
security.
crypto
That means
deal
disputes over crypto
or
companies
a
increasingly
possible
become
gift
debates about
when a
financial
foreign
oversight and public
linked
trust
investor
rather than
is putting
technology alone.
hundreds of
The
millions
exchange
of
also
dollars
illustrates how
into
quickly
a
disinformation
company
can fill gaps when
controlled by
official
the
explanations are
president's
brief
family,
or incomplete.
and
Clear
at the
communication
same
from public
time,
officials
this
becomes
president
essential because
is
uncertainty
conducting
often
foreign
fuels
policy
speculation,
with that
regardless
country.
of whether
You know what that
allegations are
causes?
ultimately
It creates-
substantiated.
It creates
For the average
a
American,
national
this hearing is about
security
far more than
concern.
cryptocurrency.
So,
Families
I'm not gonna
expect
ask much of
financial
you, Mr.
regulators to make
Secretary.
decisions
I
based
just
on
want
law
to
and
know whether
evidence,
you will
not
commit
political
today
influence. Small businesses
to
expect
pause
competitors to operate under
and
the same
heighten
rules. Investors
the
expect
scrutiny
regulators to apply consistent
any
standards
bank
regardless
charter
of who owns
or
a company
licensing
or who
application
occupies the White
at the
House.
OCC
Those expectations
connected
form
to
the
the
foundation
World
of public
Liberty
confidence
Financial
in both government
until
and
all
financial
of these
markets.
conflicts of
The larger
interest
question
and
raised by this
foreign
exchange is whether
influence
government
reviews
institutions
are
can
completed
demonstrate
and
independence
shared
while
with
maintaining
the
public
United
trust.
States Congress.
That debate affects
All I need to know
retirement
is,
savings,
will you
banking stability,
halt it
consumer confidence, and
and do
America's
a
credibility
complete
as a nation governed by laws rather than
investigation
political
and
favoritism?
scrutiny of this
Whether viewers
licensing
agree with Meeks or with Bessent,
application?
the hearing underscored a larger democratic
All you have to
principle.
ask is yes or no.
Congressional oversight is one of the
Congressman,
primary
All you have
mechanisms
to
for
ask
testing
is
executive
OCC is an
accountability in public. Vigorous questioning, public answers, and transparent decision-making remain essential to maintaining confidence in democratic institutions and protecting the interests of the American people.